Hey guys, so a little bit of a different video here. I'm going to show my face rather than show pictures of Star Wars. So if you hate that, let me know in the comments below. If you enjoy it, I guess let me know in the comments below. But I want to talk about something that I'm really tired of seeing within the Star Wars fandom, and that is the debate between Legends versus canon. And maybe you've seen it play out this way. Maybe somebody says, well, that's not actually a true fact because it is considered Legends now. Or maybe there's the other side of the debate and it's, well, you're not a real Star Wars fan because you like Disney's canon. Just stop. Be done with that. There, video done. Okay, just kidding. I want to rephrase it and flesh out this argument a little bit more in a way that hopefully might actually reframe the way that you think about the relationship between Legends and canon content in Star Wars. A quick Google search of the word legend yields this definition: a traditional story, sometimes popularly regarded as historical, but unauthenticated. We'll come back to that word there. So with that definition, a legend can be true, but perhaps has not been properly documented or authenticated to allow it to become a true historical piece of historical canon, so to speak. So Disney actually did an amazing thing for Star Wars stories told before they acquired the rights in October of 2012. I know I said Disney did an amazing thing for Star Wars stories, but before Disney, Star Wars stories published beyond the 6 films, that's episodes 1 through 6, were not considered canon by George Lucas. In fact, they were just considered the expanded universe. Despite what maybe some big Star Wars YouTubers may say, it's not actually clear whether or not George Lucas endorsed a lot or even most of the most celebrated Star Wars stories in the expanded universe. Some sources quote him even calling the expanded universe fan fiction. One example of this is from an interview in 2005 where he said that he had never read any of the Star Wars novels. He said that they took place in a completely different world than his. But on the flip side, he also mentions that he and writers would often work to maintain some level of consistency. A further example of that is that he mentions a Star Wars encyclopedia that he would use when coming up with names for locations in order to know if they had been used by another author. Maybe you want a tangible explanation of that, and that is Timothy Zahn's Heir to the Empire trilogy. Timothy Zahn's actually the one who came up with Coruscant. And when filming and coming up with Phantom Menace and the prequel trilogy, George Lucas referenced and used Timothy Zahn's Coruscant. And of course, we all know Coruscant now. So under George Lucas, the expanded universe existed way more like a multiverse rather than a cohesive storyline all existing within one universe. There were plenty of stories expanding the characters and locations of Star Wars, but according to the maker of George Lucas, they were part of separate worlds. So here's what Disney did that was amazing. Disney rebranded these expanded universe novels by placing them under a banner called Legends. To me, this brought these stories closer to canon than George Lucas ever did. Referring back to our Google search, a legend does not necessarily mean that it's not true or can't coincide with canon or fact. It just means that it hasn't been authenticated. More than that, we can look at legends stories as existing within the same world as canon now. Here's an example of that to me. The Old Republic era stories are some of my favorite contributions to Star Wars ever. Disney calls these legends now. While some may scoff at that and fault Disney for calling them legends now, they used to be considered the expanded universe that took place in a separate world than George Lucas's Star Wars, according to George Lucas. So Disney calls the Old Republic legends now, but at the same time, their canon has referenced pieces of the Old Republic. That should tell us that just because it's not officially Star Wars canon according to Disney does not mean that it shouldn't be considered a legitimate story within the canon world. A specific example of this, I'm just throwing examples at you all day. A specific example of that for you is that Disney confirmed Darth Revan's existence, one of the coolest characters in the Old Republic era, they confirmed his canon existence by naming the Third Legion of Palpatine's Sith Eternal Army after him in The Rise of Skywalker. I can think of another example that takes a more in-universe approach to reconciling legends to the canon timeline. Darth Plagueis by James Luceno, one of my absolute favorite reads of all time, is a good example of this. So in universe, the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise is truly a legend to most people, because so much of this Sith Lord's story happened in the shadows. It would be hard for anyone to actually authenticate the story of Darth Plagueis. Palpatine could, but that's about it. So in a sense, even if Darth Plagueis' story was officially Disney canon, in universe, it would probably still be considered legends because it would be so hard for even the Jedi to authenticate a lot of what happened. That's just maybe an in-universe way of looking at legends versus canon. My point is this: the relationship between Star Wars canon and legends should not be so black and white. The two categories actually work really well together in a lot of cases. I believe that the enjoyment of both can really enrich your Star Wars experience. You don't have to get bogged down in the minutia of, hey, what's canon, what's not canon. Just enjoy Star Wars stories. Don't forget that the legend stories are technically closer to canon now than when George Lucas owned Star Wars because, well, they exist in the same universe now. I actually appreciate that Disney has gone through the effort of making a cohesive Star Wars canon across multiple eras and platforms. If you've reached this far in the video, after saying all of that, I just want to say one last thing, and it's not subscribe and leave a like. What I want to say is forget all of what I just said and just enjoy Star Wars. If you want to read and watch only things under the canon banner, great, have fun with that. If you're a Legends purist and you only want to touch things that happened before Disney acquired Star Wars, then go for it, enjoy it. Or if you want to do a blend of both, have fun. That's what I do. What I want you to take away is have fun with Star Wars and don't be a troll on the internet that corrects how other people need to enjoy Star Wars. It's a big galaxy and Star Wars it's entertainment. It's not religion. Pick and choose what you want. Have fun, and most importantly, don't be a jerk on the internet because someone picks and chooses a different way to enjoy Star Wars than you do. I hope that I was able to maybe give you a different perspective towards Star Wars legends and canon timelines. If you made it this far in the video, now I'll ask if you would leave a like or subscribe for more Star Wars content like this. I reliably upload videos once or twice a week, as well as a few other additional videos here and there as I have time. Also, if you're a returning viewer or already a subscriber, let me know what you thought of this kind of talking head style video. It's a little bit different style than I normally do, but I kind of felt like I wanted to do that. It felt like a way that I could maybe connect with you guys as subscribers and viewers a little bit more. Anyways, I hope to catch you in the next video. May the Force be with you.